Hi everyone, this is Edith with Sozo Consulting, and I am back again with vitamins from A to Z. You guys can see my hubby's not here today, but he'll be back with us, and we're going to keep this train moving on the B vitamin train, okay? So let's do a quick review. We've been in the B vitamins and we talked about vitamin B1, which helps to control the nervous system and the cardiovascular system. Then we talked about B2, which helps for the metabolism of fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. And so I know you guys can guess what vitamin B we are going to be talking about today. But vitamin B3. I know you guys knew that already, okay? Great guess. So with vitamin B3, what is it? Vitamin B3 is also called niacin. And for those of you guys who are cereal eaters, if you've ever seen a cereal commercial or read a cereal box, it always talks about how cereal is fortified with niacin. So I'm sure most of you have probably heard of the vitamin niacin, okay? And all it is B3. So it is a water-soluble vitamin, just like the rest of the Bs. But with B3, it's a little bit different in the fact that B3 in extra large doses can actually be toxic, okay? Even though it's water soluble. So just make sure that you partner with your doctor with how much to take, because you don't want to take in excess. And typically, you don't want to run out and, go get the supplement. You can most of the time get your vitamin B3 in the foods that you eat every day, just by consuming the right foods. Okay, so we're gonna get into it. Just so you guys know, again, this is for informational purposes. This is not to diagnose anything, but to let you guys get pointed in the right direction so that you can ask questions and take the lead in your health. Okay, so let's do this. What does niacin do? So, first of all, it helps to repair our DNA. What does that mean? So, your DNA goes through different things and could get damaged and need to be repaired. And if it doesn't, we look like we're aging. Not that we don't want to get older, because there's only one way to not get older, but we don't want to get old, okay? We want to age without getting old. But with our DNA, sometimes if it's not repaired like it should, you'll look older than what you should, okay? Next, it breaks down our fats, which we talked about with the vitamin B2. But then it also helps to stabilize our blood sugar, okay? Those diabetics out there, ding, 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 listen up. Also, it helps to reduce the risk of heart attacks. And you guys know that heart disease is something that's prevalent in our society today. And then it also slows the narrowing down of our arteries with cholesterol. So our bodies make cholesterol, our bodies need cholesterol, cholesterol's in our brains. So for those of us who are of the school that you got to be 200 or less, that's typically what doctors want you nowadays. Hey, that's where you may be. But there are some people who are of the old school where it's 250, because typically ever so often the medical community will review numbers and then they'll lower that number on down because they want us to maintain a certain health standard that they deem is good. So that's where you partner with your doctor, your PCP, and you guys determine what's a good cholesterol for you, okay? So then not only does it help us maintain a good cholesterol, but it also helps us to suppress any inflammation in our body. And guys, most of the time when we get to feeling these aches and pains and cricks and all that stuff that started this series that we're doing, most of the time it's because there's some inflammation hiding out somewhere, all right? And we want to get rid of that, because long-term inflammation can lead to disease, and we don't want any of that, okay? We're going to get older, but not old, okay? So, also, for my married people, I didn't know this, but niacin helps the body to make various hormones that help keep us having a healthy sex life. So, all my married people, let's get that niacin in, okay? Ooh, ooh. So, yeah. So, if our niacin is low, what are some symptoms that our body will be screaming at us to tell us, like, hey, I need you to eat some stuff with some niacin in it? Let's look. First, you will experience possibly muscle weakness, okay? Muscles feeling weak. Next, a lack of appetite. So I know those of us who may be on the weight loss train who are like I don't want my appetite to be that great. Well, you guys know food is how our body is fueled, and so we need to eat. We just don't need to overeat. So we do need an appetite, okay? And we need a healthy appetite, and that niacin will help us to have a healthy appetite. Next, it will also lead possibly to digestive problems. So, we're eating food and we used to be able to eat this food, and then now 10 years later we can't stomach it and we're trying to figure out why. Well, one of the possible reasons could be maybe we need to get that B3 checked, okay? So then also a low tolerance to cold. You're always cold. You're sitting in the house and you got to turn the little space heater on, or you need a blanket so you can stay warm at night, okay? But your husband or wife, your spouse laying next to you is like burning up, like, oh my goodness, like, why you need the heat on? So yeah, that intolerance to cold is something else, okay? Then also, oh my goodness, then memory loss. So you're walking into a room and you're like, oh my God, like, why did I come in here? What am I looking for? And you forget completely like what it was you're about to do, okay? Little things like that with your memory could be a deficiency with B3. Then also, maybe there's some more inflammation, but this time the inflammation is on your skin, okay? And then also, you could see around your neck area, red areas around your neck. So all of that are part of your skin, maybe possibly looking at your B3, all right? And then lastly, maybe you suffer with diarrhea and don't know why. It could be B3. Okay, so those are some of the ding, 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 little signs your body will be screaming at you. So long-term effect, if you are deficient in D3 for an extended period, what you will notice is decrease in the consumption of proteins by your body, okay? And so we don't want that because it leads to a loss of muscle mass. It also leads to decreased immunity, so you'll get sick a lot more. Also, it weakens your heart. And then lastly, it can affect your respiratory system. So you guys know we need our oxygen. We need to breathe. We need our heart to be pumping and functioning, okay? We want to make sure that we're healthy all the time. We don't have time to be sick, walking around with runny, stuffy noses and stuff like that, all right? And we want to look toned and beautiful, okay? So B3, we got to get that B3. So how are we going to get it, okay? We're going to get it through our foods. So let's go through a list of what foods are good sources for B3. So you have beets, we have brewer's yeast, you have beef liver, beef kidney, fish such as salmon, swordfish, or tuna. Then for those of you who may be vegetarian or vegan, you have your sunflower seeds and also peanuts, okay? And that's not an exhaustive list, but that's what's on my list are some foods that are very high in niacin, okay? So nothing hard. That stuff you can run out today and go get from the grocery store. And again, you should be able to get an adequate amount of niacin just from foods. So just make some adjustments. And if you don't have any of those foods in your diet and you feel like those are some things, some symptoms that you may be experiencing, add those to it and see if a difference is made, okay? So Let's talk about, because y'all know I always close with a common disease that could be brought up with that vitamin deficiency. So, everyone has probably heard of Alzheimer's disease, okay? So, Alzheimer's disease is no joke. So, it is a neurodegenerative disease, which all it means is your nerves stop functioning. That is categorized by memory loss that starts slowly but progressively worsens, okay? And it worsens especially with the neurons of the brain. And that's really significant because the neurons are the message carriers in the body. So literally your neurons are your communicators that say, hey, heart, I need you to beat. Hey, hand, I need you to move. Oh, yeah, it's not good. And we have so many people that deal with that we have Alzheimer communities that are being built, people that deal with dementia, so on and so forth. Because, you know, they can't function normal in society because they just can't remember who they are, where they are, family members, any of that stuff. My stepmother dealt with that, and my dad, God bless him, took care of her for a number of years, and just kind of watching how he interacted with her. Those of you who have someone who may have dementia or Alzheimer's may know that it can be really difficult on the person who's taking care of them, because you know that's your mother, that's your son, your family member. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to give her a clap. But that is your family member, and they don't even remember you anymore. It's like, oh my God, my mom doesn't remember me. But you know what? We're at a point now where all of us have enough of our memory where we can function, and we can make a change today by partnering with our doctor, making sure we have our vitamins and our minerals like we need to, and definitely 3 in our diets, and making those adjustments today, that if we're not eating the foods with D3 or B3, excuse me, to add those to our diets today, okay? Especially since we can get the adequate amount through foods versus having to supplement that, okay? So just make the little adjustment. We'll send you out a list. We'll get that list going so that you can go get you some niacin rich foods and continue to thrive and not just survive in this world, okay? So again, this is Edith with Sosa Consulting. This has been Vitamins from A to Z, talking about D3, and hopefully there was something that was said that can be beneficial to you, and we will see you next time. God bless, be blessed, be empowered. Bye.